Greetings and welcome to the podcast Guided Life Plan. Bob McGurty sharing stories that will guide you in your own life and the plans that you have to be all that you can be, accomplish all that you can. As we start today, I want to give a little bit of reflection and then introduce the topic so that you understand exactly what we're going to do today. Yes, I'll share stories and stories about my life, but it will be focused around a particular topic. First of all, thank you to you, the listener, and for the responses that I've gotten on Facebook, on Messenger, on text, in person. You are awesome, and I love doing this anyways, and I think I might enjoy it without an audience, but the reality is it is supercharged fun because I'm getting feedback and I know that it's helping you. At least 5 or 6 people have said, can't wait for the next episode, looking forward to the next episode. So here it is. And I'm just delighted to be able to do this, to be able to share with you. The goal is real simple. I want to guide you in your life through stories, through some inspirational thoughts, perspective, philosophy, whatever it is, uh, that you would be able to be a better person because you've heard some things that have either confirmed things that you needed confirming, questioned things you needed questioning, and at the end of the day, you grow as a result of it. If I can do that, then this rocks and I'm on target. So please keep in touch with me. Love the communication. You can always email me, bengalibob@gmail.com, Bengali, Bengali like the tiger, and Bob like Bob, me, bengalibob@gmail.com. Thank you. Appreciate it. Today's topic, I'm going to talk about depression. I'm going to relate it to my own stories and experiences, my own depression of those around me that I love and know. And I just need to say it's important for you to hear that I am not sharing from a degree or a science or a medical knowledge perspective. I'm sharing experience. And if you have more experience or you think differently or think that I'm wrong, would love your feedback. More importantly, and mostly as a learner, I want to learn, I want to grow. I believe that this can be dialogue, not monologue. And so if you question something I say, tell me. But again, remember the goal is not to give you scientific knowledge, but to give you perspective through storytelling about my experiences. And my goal is that it will help you, it will strengthen you. And so today I'll talk about depression. When I get towards the wrap up, I'm going to give some don'ts and do's. We usually say do's and don'ts, but I'll put the don'ts first, and then I'll end with the do's. And the list is for you if you struggle with depression. It's for those close to you if they struggle. So whether it's for yourself or for others, but just to help you. Depression has been a part of my life, and I probably first experienced it just because of the family upbringing, moving regularly, being the new kid all the time, being in 15 or 20 schools by the time I graduated high school, moving just as much. There were some years that we would move 3 or 4 times in a year, and those things just unsettle you and discourage you. My mom was married and remarried multiple times, and I could remember the issues that led to her first divorce when I was 6 years old, and just struggling as a little kid, 4 and 5 years old, and feeling like it was my fault that mommy and daddy didn't love each other, that they fought so much, and just wishing that I could do something to make it better. And that's probably the earliest memory of depression. I do remember being around the 4th grade, 10 years old, maybe 9 or 10 years old. And we lived in the back of an Italian restaurant in Joliet, Illinois called Pastori's. And I could remember being sad, but I can remember Jack the cook, and I can't wait to tell the Pastori's restaurant story, but Jack the cook was our buddy, man. He would make us peanut butter pizza. Jack was amazing, but I remember Jack coming. We had an apartment that was attached to the back of the restaurant. There was just a kind of a facade door that we could lock from the inside. But literally, you can go from the kitchen and go right into our apartment. And Jack was back there, and my mom and stepdad were fighting, and I was back in my room. And I had a butter knife to my wrist. And so I don't, if you said to me, was I trying to commit suicide? I'd say no, because I don't remember that. But obviously there was a sadness that I was maybe wishing I wasn't in the picture. I don't know, but again, depression, very real part of my life. I will be telling a story about the time that I did CPR on my mom as a teenager, and again, that's an exposure to depression. And so here are my thoughts about depression, and then I'll tie them to some stories. But number one is depression is not as controllable as people who don't deal with depression would think it is. You know, for me, the most painful thing, if I'm going through a season of depression, of just what I would call unexplained sadness, because depression isn't just like being an Eagle fan and the Super Bowl's lost. You might be in depression because you had hoped, or maybe even you gambled and betted that the Eagles would win. That's not depression. That's a season of sadness or anger or disappointment. But depression to me is you're sad and you can't even, something will trigger it, but you can't, like, so something will happen. Maybe someone will say something offensive, and then I'll kind of get in my room and cry or be upset or just feel like I'm a terrible person. And literally in that moment of depression, if that person had never said something, I'd still be there. It's almost like a chemical transaction over your body. You can't explain it. The hardest thing, if I'm dealing with depression, is for you to say to me, "What's wrong?" And the reason that's hard, you may be very sincere and going, "What's wrong?" Because you care about me and you want to help me. And if it's because I don't have money to fix my car, you're going to give me money to fix my car. Or if it's because Twyla and I are having an argument, you're going to encourage us or pray for us or do something to help the situation. The hard thing when I'm in this full blown out depression is, if you ask me what's wrong, that is so difficult because I can't answer you. I don't know what's wrong. If I knew it, I could get the hammer or the tools out and fix it. That's the tough part about depression. What's wrong? You really don't know. And you may say, "Well, this happened," and someone says something bad about me, and you're just thinking, "For real?" You're curled up in a corner crying because someone upset you? No, I am in that corner, and that was the trigger, but that's not why I'm depressed, and I don't know why I'm depressed, and I'm sad, and it hurts, and it's rough. I think people that get into depression end up going down some difficult paths that could be the addictive side, whatever that addiction might be, drugs and alcohol, pornography, whatever it is. But there's an addiction side, and it's like, I just want to feel good, so I'm going to do something that's probably not good for me. There's the harm side of self-harm, cutting, all those kind of things. And then the deepest, darkest is to actually contemplate or even have a plan of suicide. These are things that happen when we're in that depression mode, and they can be very difficult and very painful. And so I think we've all faced discouragement. We've all gone through valleys and seasons where nothing seems to be positive or encouraging, and we question life, and we go through these different things. But let me just go through this list and of don'ts and do's. And again, I'm I'm just throwing experiential advice out here, not medical advice. So I would start out my don't with saying, don't say what's wrong with you. Like if you know someone is prone to depression, or if you're the one in depression and someone says what's wrong with you, try to understand it, that they're really not judging you or trying to quick fix you, or uh, just it doesn't help. If you really know someone that's regularly depressed and you just see it, say you might start out with the opposite. You just accept that that person may not know what's wrong with them, and just say, what can I do? If you're a person of faith, can I pray for you? Can I give you a hug? Can I do something for you? And maybe it's just holding a person's hand and just sitting beside them in silence, or intentionally taking them to something that will be a healthier situation. Um, the other thing is, so that's number one in the don'ts. Don't say what's wrong with you, or just try to rephrase that in a way that doesn't say, I'm here to fix you, and so what's broken? Because often if you're depressed, you really don't even know. You don't have an answer. Number two is, I would say, don't give unsolicited advice. If the person's not asking you for help, don't tell them, well, you need to pray more, you need to forgive more, you need to love more. And they all may be exact and true. And especially if you're really close, you may know that to be the case. But I would just say, don't give unsolicited advice at that moment. Now, if they're asking for it, that's totally different. But even when you give it kindly and gently. Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another. Just don't. So don't say what's wrong with you, or reword it, rephrase it. Realize that that person may not have an answer, and that becomes more painful. And secondly, just don't give unsolicited advice. Now, those are two don'ts from my perspective. I hope they're helpful. The do's, there's a whole bunch more do's. I'm going to put a couple of things out here. I would start with, if you're the one depressed, this is for you specifically. It's very important that you take care of yourself, self-care. And I'm gonna give an illustration that will hopefully help you. If you're a traveler, you fly on the airplane on a regular basis, you know the drill. You check in, you go through security, and there's always that safety briefing. Unless you got a lot of money and are flying privately, when you fly commercial aircraft, at some point that flight attendant, and at one point I just had it memorized because I was traveling too much, and one of the most counterintuitive things that is said to you is that, in case of an accident or emergency, the oxygen will drop down, and it tells a mother or a provider of a child or caretaker to put the oxygen on yourself before putting it on others. Well, my wife is a mom. I know my own mom, and it just goes against everything. We love our children, and we'll have a mindset of, let me die, but let the child live. And I think the airline understands something. If you're not well, you can't help those around you. This is the biggest thing. I call it the oxygen tip. Get oxygen. Take care of yourself. I'm not talking about being selfish. If you're going to love and care and serve others and live long and be a provider and be a good mom, be a good dad, you have got to take care of yourself. And I believe this is one of the biggest dues of getting out of depression. Take care of yourself. Give yourself oxygen. Find what it is that helps you. For me, a walk in the woods with all the smells of forest, jungle, kind of um, just a nice walk. Where we're at currently, we have property at our house, and I love going in our back property and just smelling, just watching a rabbit run across. There's just something beautiful about that. My favorite piece of poetry: think me not unkind and rude, that I walk alone in grove and glen. I go to the God of the wood to fetch his word toward men. The author of that poem was probably a pantheistic person, and multiple gods or God in everything. But I've interpreted that my own way. I go to the God of the wood, the God who I believe in, who created the heavens and the earth, and I just take care of myself. That's my oxygen. So if you're prone to depression, or you have friends that are, help them to get oxygen and to take care of themselves. I've done a lot of relief work. I remember in Bangladesh, I'll tell that story sometime, in Kutubdia. There was a cyclone, April 29th, 1991, that killed 150,000 people in Bangladesh. And we went to the island of Kutubdia, and a third of the people had died there. And we were working hard. And at a certain point, we realized we needed to take care of ourselves. We needed to sleep well, eat well, in order to have the strength and energy and capacity to help others. I worked in northwest India, in Gujarat, an earthquake on January 21st or so of about 2001. I don't remember the exact date, but anyways, a major earthquake, and we were there for weeks and weeks, and we put up some volleyball courts and played soccer, and it seemed crazy in the midst of tens of thousands of dead people, but we had to take care of ourselves. So the number one, do take care of yourself. Number two, and again, for the one who struggles with depression, or for the friend of, or the concerned person of, be careful with the what's wrong statement. Just if you receive that, know that that person probably means well. They're not pointing the finger and telling you something's wrong with you. They really care, and they want to know how they can help. And I'd say if you're the one who's taking care of someone who's struggling with depression, just try to rephrase that, or just be careful with it, or unpack it, or just be careful with that statement. Number three, anything like this, but hug, care, support. Just love on that person. Just be there for them. A friend of mine made a comment that if you're in the ditch, a true friend doesn't ask why you're in the ditch, or how you got there, or what's your plan to get out, but he just sits in the ditch with you and holds your hand until you're ready to get out. And just provide that kind of support. And of course, the other do is, if this is prolonged, or if it's making you scared or nervous, look for that professional help. It may not just be a ditch thing that somebody's going to jump and get out of. Just be there for them and help them. The last do that I want to share, I hope this will help you, but it has helped me. So over 43 years ago now, I came to faith in God, and there's a verse in the Bible, and I just want to talk about how this verse helps me when I'm depressed. This is my self-care. This is another perspective of my oxygen is, and I'll read it. If you're a faith person, if you're a follower of Jesus, you'll know this verse. but it comes from the book of Philippians, and it's in chapter 4 and verse 8. And if you're not a Jesus follower or you don't read the Bible, don't sweat it. Let me just read it to you. And if you email me, bengalibob@gmail, I'll be glad to send you the verse. But it says this: finally, brothers and sisters, whatever's true, whatever's noble, whatever's right, whatever's pure, whatever's lovely, whatever's admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. And I'll read this a couple more times, but this verse has helped me so much. In times of struggling, Philippians 4:8, I'm going to do it. So when you're depressed or when someone is depressed, you're not thinking about true, noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable. You're not thinking about good things. You're thinking about your spouse, and you're thinking that they love you less than they do. You're thinking about your kids, and you're thinking they respect you less than you do. You're thinking about your debt, and you're thinking you owe more than you do. You're thinking about church or mosque or temple or wherever you go, and you're thinking the people in there think of you less than they do. You're thinking about God and thinking he's less than he is, or you're less in his eyes than you are. And it's just like this compiling bad factor. And this is, like, to me, antidepressant medication. So let me read it again. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever's true, whatever's noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. This, to me, has been the single best thing to get me out of my slump. It's good for me to take a walk in nature and admire the God of the wood, the God of the universe. But I literally will read this and I realize, man, it's not as bad as I'm pretending or imagining it to be. It's not, I'm not as bad a person as I'm judging myself to be. And whatever I'm doing, my job, I'm not doing as poor a job as I think. It's not as bad of a job. It's not as bad of a paycheck. But when you're down, it's almost like instead of trying to get up, you're trying to dig a hole to go down deeper. And this verse is, to me, antidepressant medicine. And so let me read it once more and we'll close out for today. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever's true. And sometimes we are thinking about what's false and what's not true when we're depressed. Whatever's noble, high and lofty and good, noble, right. Whatever's right, things that are right living, right speaking, right, rightness, truth. Whatever's pure things. Don't think of evil things. Pure things, good things. Whatever's lovely, whatever's admirable. If anything is excellent or praiseworthy, if anything is excellent, if there's one single excellent thing in your life, think about it. Well, I have a nice house. I have a nice wife. I have kids that love me. And before you know it, it's like, instead of trying to dig down further, you're going to rise up. You really are. Think about such things. And so I hope that helps you. Depression's real, and there are reasons. Some are imagined, some are legitimate. It doesn't really matter. When you're depressed, you're depressed. And so let me just summarize real quick and we'll wrap up here. Don't just jump into that tagline of what's wrong with you, and try not to be offended when people say it, because they probably mean well. And also, don't give unsolicited advice. If people aren't asking you to help them and give you 3 steps to be fixed and what's wrong with their life, don't offer it. And the do's: get your oxygen. United Airlines, Delta, all them, they understand it. if you're not breathing well, you're not going to be able to help your child or others around you. Get your oxygen, whatever it is. What is it that energizes you? Is it exercise? Do it. Is it a long walk? Do it. Is it writing? Do it. Is it reflecting? Just get your oxygen, number one. Number two, just be careful with the what's wrong statement. If you're the depressed one, be careful to not misinterpret it. And if you're the one helping someone depress, just find some new words that aren't going to cut the way that might. And third, hug, care, support, just love on the person. I gave the example of when someone's in a ditch, you don't just say, how do you get there or get out? A good friend just going to sit in the ditch, hold their hand, and when they're ready, you can get up together. It's a lot easier that way. And that's it. Thanks for listening. I know I sound like a preacher today, and it's not the goal. I hope I shared a perspective more than an opinion. I did not try to share medical advice. If you're discouraged and if you're depressed, my prayers are with you. My thoughts are with you that you will do well and you'll get to the other side. If there's something I can do or say to help you, contact me, bengalibob@gmail.com. And thanks for listening today. And I just love the opportunity to share stories with you. You can get this podcast in many places, including Anchor.fm, Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. There's a bunch of different places, and if you are listening to a podcast somewhere and I'm not there, I'll try to get there if that will help you. So again, thank you, friends. Thanks for your support and encouragement, and I look forward to the next podcast.